Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your #1 source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
Band from Ringside.
Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, we have your Clash at the Castle recap. The Wyatts 6 make their big debut. Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland go face-to-face in the middle of the ring. We have your G1 block announcements with a surprise AEW entrant in there. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks, and welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Diamond Satchel Page. And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
You make me feel like I'm living a kayfabe dream. The way you turn me on, I can't sleep. Let's run away and don't ever look back. Don't ever look back. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads and I read from the latest edition of the Band from Ringside podcast, volume 364, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saying, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the holy trinity of BFR. Plenty to talk about, plenty on the table. Let's kick that shit rolling to my man on my left-hand side.
We got Vice joining us. What's going on, Vice?
Hey, guys. I'm happy to be here. Bill, I got one question for you.
What's that?
What does Judgment Day and NBA superstar Sean Kemp, the Rain Man, have in common?
What's that?
They got small hands.
No Zach tonight. Zach is doing something that is, frankly, hilarious. He sent us a text with what he would be doing. I'll let him tell it next week if he wants to, but it's very funny and it's not very Zach-like, and I think that you'll all get a big kick out of it.
It's funnier than hell.
Yeah, you should have to tell the story.
We're coming at you from beautiful St. Charles, Missouri. It was hot outside today. It's nice out tonight. They announced the G1 blocks. I was on. I love it. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Yeah. It's the real WrestleMania,
good stuff.
But we're gonna save that for last because there was a bunch of stuff that came before that you might want to listen to. That's only for the real heads. So if you stick around, and we got NJPW Soul stuff too. But like I said, we're gonna go through WWE and AEW, some AEW analysis from the people who actually watch the product. So without further ado, let's get to that 3 count. JCB, kick it off.
Somebody check on Jinder Mahal. He might have shrapnel in his leg.
That is directed at a lot of people out there. There are wrestling podcasts out there that feel like they get to. That's not directed at Jinder Mahal. That is directed at a lot of people. There is a podcast I listen to that I will not name that they feel the need to comment on AEW all the time, and then when the pay-per-views come around, they're like, well, I didn't watch it. It's like, okay, all right. So if you want some AEW analysis, we're here for AEW analysis. But first off, JCB, kick it off.
Wow, okay. I thought I was just, faking the funk on the nasty dunk. Never mind. That's
it's teed up.
That's teed up. Okay, fine. If you want me to say it, I'll say it. I'm not saying I take this totally seriously, but I take it serious enough talking about the BFR where I watch the product. And if that means I come up with a bad take, good take, whatever the case may be, that's just my opinion. It's my take. But I at least take the time to watch the shit.
There's no such thing as a bad take or a good take.
No, there's
there are takes.
No, there's such thing as a bad take. Zach had to shut me down a couple of times. There's such thing as a bad take. But I at least say I watch the shit.
You can have an opinion. I may not support it, but I'm glad you have one.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And on that lovely note, let's talk about some real shit. Let's go over to Scotland for the weekend Clash of the Castle 5-match event. Once again, felt like another NXT card, but they packed the action in. So let's start at the top. A surprise opening match, but a good opening match nonetheless. You had AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship in the I Quit match. Obviously, AJ luring Cody into this I Quit match. They had a nice little head-to-head segment on SmackDown to build to this match. Both guys got their verbal shots in. AJ, not known for having chops on the mic, did kind of shut Cody down a little bit, where to the point where I was like, okay, we got something going, talking about how he's left these other organizations, promotions, whatever you want to call them, left AEW and now came back to WWE, basically calling him a quitter. So it was a nice little build on both sides to build up to the match. It was, like I said, to me, this was a surprise as the curtain jerker, but I wasn't mad about the shit. I guess one of the biggest criticisms I've seen about this match is at a point where Cody Rhodes is fairly incapacitated and the referee's coming over to see if he's conscious enough to continue the match. I did hear criticism about that's where a possible stoppage of the match should have happened. See Deonna Purrazzo versus Thunder Rosa over the weekend, where Thunder Rosa was basically getting strung up by Deonna Purrazzo, and the referee just came in and stopped the match. I guess people were looking for something similar to this. For those people, all I can say is I'm just not sure what you're looking for. You're probably taking this one step too far because you probably should have known Cody was going to win. But neither here nor there. I understand the criticism. I just don't agree with it. The finish, I'm not a big fan of the steps finish. I'd rather just see it to where maybe he hit him with the steps, similar to what Edge did with Christian. He hit him with the spike pole or the spike bat in the balls and then threaten to do it again. I'd rather see it like that versus seeing AJ go through all this and then kind of punk out at the end without trying to take too much more punishment. Neither here nor there. Predictable finish. We all know this, or at least I assume all of us knew this. For an I Quit match, I thought this was pretty good. It wasn't the best I Quit match I've ever seen. It ain't the worst. Somewhere in the gray. I lean towards it being good. Cody was playing the role as best he could, like I said, for a predictable finish. But all in all, surprising curtain jerker. But once again, Cody Rhodes going over, not a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that it's not the best I Quit match I've ever seen, because I don't think I've ever seen one that I particularly loved.
I was saying you're on record.
Yeah, so, I mean, here's a couple Georgia boys that are having an old school Southern style, this is how they wrestled back then. That they
Georgia
wanted
wrestling.
Yeah, that they wanted to have an I Quit match, and I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that they kept it interesting, because it's tough. It's going to be tough to keep the beginning of this Cody run interesting. When we get to SummerSlam, there could be some intrigue as to whether or not Cody will win or will drop the title there. Nobody thought that he was going to drop the title here. That's why to hear that people had criticism about it's like, okay, there was never a doubt that Cody was going to win. I expected it to be the curtain jerker. I enjoyed it just fine. I like the fact that AJ, when he said I quit, he said it, angrily and not like out of sheer pain or something like that. He kept, as much as you can not lose anything in an I Quit match. Right. I mean, you lose something in an I Quit match, and yes. They're sending them to Japan, so it's as good of a time as any to have him lose the I Quit match, because he's going to Noah to fight
Marufuji.
Oh, yeah, we saw Marufuji versus friend of the show, frenemy of the show, Dijakovic, in Illinois one time. So, all right, cool.
Yeah, I believe that's 7:13 for those who actually give a fuck. But
I don't have much else to add here.
There's going to be a bunch of knees in that match.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of knees.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say Marufuji doesn't fuck around, and AJ was still one of the better high flyers in all of wrestling. So that has intrigue to it. Plus the WWE and Noah doing more stuff together. That's always intriguing.
Exciting times.
Yeah, we had Shinsuke a few months back last year, and then now obviously you have this as well. So strengthening ties. Obviously, post-match you had the Bloodline led by Solo Sikoa attack Cody Rhodes with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton making the save. Smells like six-man tag for Money in the Bank, and then a possible title defense. I shouldn't say possible. A title defense at SummerSlam. TBA for the opponent for Cody Rhodes. My guess feels like Solo Sikoa. At least that's the way they kind of feel like they're building towards that. But obviously, we're still a couple months away from that. But interesting post-match angle. I know some people don't like this 2.0 Bloodline. I'm still enjoying it. Like I said, for me, Paul Heyman is the guy that's stirring the drink.
I can't remember if we talked about this last week. What is people's problem with Bloodline 2.0? It's still good.
It's great.
I think it's Solo being the head is not something that people are enjoying, which to me is the funniest part about WWE fans or just fans in general, the fickleness. I'll take Bryan Danielson's word.
Do you remember what Harvey Keitel says to George Clooney in From Dusk Till Dawn after they cross the border and they're in the titty twister and they're getting drunk? Do you remember what Harvey Keitel says to George Clooney there when some guy brushes up against him, George Clooney wants to fight him? It's one of the best lines ever. Harvey Keitel says to him, "Are you such a loser that you don't know when you've won?" That's what I feel like saying to wrestling fans. It's like, you guys are mad at the Bloodline. It's like, this is all the shit that you ever wanted. They built up Solo Sikoa for years to have him in a spot like this. He was perfect in his role. And now he moves into this role, and he's perfect in it. And people are still bitching about it? Jesus Christ. Guys, try to enjoy yourselves. This is not your job.
Like I said, when the chance of we want Roman started to come back, I'm like, wow.
That's fine.
That's the craziest shit.
But that's fine if Solo has real heat, which the Bloodline do have real heat, and people want Roman back. That all makes sense. But if you got a bunch of smart marks on Twitter and they're bitching about the Bloodline 2.0, it's like,
not as good.
Do you guys remember how bad wrestling used to be?
So you wouldn't bitch about them being good at their job now?
Yeah,
that's what you wouldn't complain about? You wouldn't complain about wrestling being
Are you guys
good?
such losers that you don't know when you've won?
I almost took that for me.
Yeah, say that to somebody sometime.
No, like I said, for me, I'm still enjoying it. It's a different path and it's different characters, so they're going to do different things. We're going to add different people into this mix. I don't want it to be the Bloodline that we just saw. That bad boy.
I feel like saying it to
basically
Eddie
dead.
Kingston all the fucking time, man. Just, hey, Eddie, come find me.
He's back.
It's like they're bitching about sitting ringside. It's like they're bitching about sitting courtside at an NBA Finals game. They're like, this guy just keeps double dribbling.
Anyway.
It's like they all double dribble.
Yeah, if we get Cody versus Solo, that's totally cool with me.
I'm totally good with it. Yeah, I was going to say I would have no problem with it. I would assume the build would be good, and then you can lead into other things if Cody retains, which I would assume he would. But neither here nor there. Next up, you had a triple threat match for the Women's Tag Team Championship. The champions, Jade and Bianca versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Obviously, coming in, we all know the story about Alba Fire's mom passing away before the match. So heavy heart coming into this. And I'm not saying that it had something to do with the finish, but maybe it did have something to do with the finish.
I'll tell you what I thought when they went over is my first thought was I wish I wouldn't have picked McIntyre, because I think that they wanted to give the Scottish crowd
something to cheer for. Yep.
And right when that happened, I was like, Damian Priest is going over. I think that had as much that probably had more to do with it than the unfortunate passing of Alba Fire's mother. But I was shocked.
I was too, just in the sense that it didn't feel like this would be the trigger point. I get it. It makes sense upon Monday Night Quarterback looking back at it, but I still didn't feel like this would be the time. I felt like one team would lose. Stark and Baszler would probably be that team, and then you would have the spinoff where Alba Fire and Isla Dawn and Alba Fire were going to be next up. I would have a little more. I would like this a little more if they would have built those two up and then have them take the title. This just kind of felt out of nowhere. You didn't really see them coming over after being drafted. They were in spots here and there. Then all of a sudden they're here and now they're the champs. I'm not saying it's too much too quick. I like Kaylee Ray. I'm not a huge fan of her name right now in WWE, but she's been on NXT UK. She was dominant there. I'd rather see her as a singles competitor. Neither here nor there.
I do want to say that I called them Isle of Fire a couple weeks ago, and they are actually called the Unholy Union, which is a much, 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 much better name.
Very true. I saw that on, not Wikipedia, but Cage Match. I was like, Okay.
Yeah, I forgot that they were called that. That's a pretty good name, actually.
It's better than some of the names we've heard of as of late. But, yeah, this was the surprise.
Swerve in our fire.
Stop.
Isle in our glory.
Stop, dude.
Here we go.
Write them down. Genuinely surprised.
Naturally limitless.
Oof, Lord.
He didn't help with that either.
No, not at all. Because he said it like Keith Lee would.
It did.
He totally
That was my
did.
Keith Lee impression.
I was hoping that we would see Jade and Bianca beat champs more and have them form together as a team, and then for whatever reason, knee injury, jealousy, whatever the case may be, that's how they would eventually go their separate ways. If this is going to happen right now, neither here nor there. Obviously, the big spot of the match is Jade slipping off the top rope and biting it on a springboard clothesline. AJ was warned about it. Obviously, Damian Priest bit it later on that night. Somebody from AEW slipped on the middle of the ropes. So, okay, look. Whenever you jokers want to get out there and do that shit and do it flawlessly, knock yourselves out. I'm not defending Jade, but I'm not going to sit up here and say that's the easiest shit in the world.
It was a problem with the ropes. Like, I saw a thing where the referee went up to AJ Styles directly and said, like, pointed at the ropes and was like, these aren't as tight as they need to be. Like, that is not an issue with any of the performers. So if people are going at Jade for that.
Oh, they went hard on, immediately.
That's why I'm so glad that I'm off of wrestling Twitter, because I see some stuff, but not all stuff. That was a problem. That's not a problem with the performers. That's a problem with the drunken Scottish union guys that they got to work over there. They farmed that out to those drunks over in Scotland. Hey, Scotland.
Don't.
Come find me.
God damn.
Anyway,
come on, man. I got some friends over there, man. What you doing?
I'm glad everybody's okay.
No.
Well, and it wasn't like they were running down the aisle and falling like old boy on the way to Royal Rumble. JCB's boy.
Titus O'Neil.
No, he went to the University of Florida. He would never be my boy, okay, whether we look like or not, okay? He made a poor choice in college, and at that point, we got to go our separate ways, too. I get the. I don't even say I get the criticism. I get why you want to
Scotland as a country.
Yeah, that too. I get why people want to get mad, but I mean, damn, that shit is not easy. When I helped Joey set up the ring for one of his promotional shoots, that shit's heavy. Them ropes are not thick. I mean, it is little room for error. So I mean, to do shit like that and do it flawlessly,
it is surprising that they got to the live event and didn't have that shit fixed. And then it's surprising to me that they didn't take time during the event. Like, I know nothing about it. I know nothing about the nuts and bolts. I've never even tried it. I've never seen anybody do it. I know nothing about it. But I'm saying, for that to happen with WWE,
right?
I mean, which is, by all accounts, a fucking machine in terms of pumping out live events and making it safe and being OSHA-approved and everything, except for the spots, that for it to go that long and still be a problem by the main event surprises me.
It's a little.
I bet Triple H wanted some butts.
It's a little disappointing, especially with Jade here. I want some butts.
Who always used to say that is Kevin Connors.
Old Top Gun.
He wants some butts.
And I totally understand.
I want them now.
And it's frustrating to watch. It's, especially in the pre-spot where it's scary because he's dangling there and you're like, oh shit, how are we getting him loose? You got this poor referee trying to get him out of off the ropes. God bless Drew McIntyre.
I'll tell you what, if we're talking about Drew McIntyre saved the whole thing. Drew McIntyre. He just went at him.
Yeah, and that's. And I appreciate that. Let's just talk about that because since we're already on it, we'll come back to the other two matches.
Drew McIntyre, pro's pro.
Without question. The reason why I wanted, and I don't want to say I wanted to see him lose, but I said it last week. I wanted to see the reaction after he lost. How far was he going to go with this as a meltdown? And he did it perfectly. I'll give the credit to the fact that they had Punk right there ready to go. We saw it on Monday night. Give me your shirt, and he ran out there. The direction of it, whoever made sure that you had the wide screen, and then when he slid in the ring, you saw the back of him. You never saw who it was until they were ready to show who it was. And at that point, that was a masterful little stroke of performance.
You know,
there.
I so appreciate them showing CM Punk backstage pulling that off. That, to me, is like the next that's like the next evolution of like wrestling television, is like, show me more of the kayfabe. Like, how did this guy get to the ring? How did these guys end up jumping the dudes in the dressing room, which is what Joe and Hook are doing too, right. Which I appreciate that. That is cool to me. And them showing CM Punk like seize the moment, and like CM Punk was acting and he acted like, oh shit, right here. He's like, give me the ref shirt. That was brilliant. I loved it.
It's so well done because you can see them seeing it from both perspectives, and now you're getting the fans into it. And this is a feud that fans are invested in. Either you like Drew McIntyre or you like CM Punk. There's not too many people that ride the fence, especially when it comes to Punk. Even if you don't like Drew, you don't like CM Punk. So anybody that comes across him, you probably just like on the humbug. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I like the ending of the match. I like the cleverness of it. I really wanted Drew McIntyre to win. Like, that, and to me, they're not trying to make CM Punk a babyface at all. That is some heel shit, man. Heel shit.
It was heel shit, obviously, in Scotland, but I don't think that ultimately it matters, because fans are just going to like Punk or not like Punk. It's not. I don't think. I get what you're saying, and I agree with it.
He cannot create new heat. Everybody he's got heat with, he's already got heat with.
Seth coming back, yeah. Drew, yeah.
I'm talking about the fans.
At this point, you probably can't. I mean, there's not much more that he could do unless he just imploded the WWE locker room.
He will never get heat from the CM Punk diehards, and there are a lot.
I
Even if he's a heel, is what I'm saying.
No, I can't say I disagree with that. I'll just say, like, to me, I love what they did. I agree with you to a certain extent of you can't hate him anymore, or, you know, they've hit their ceiling with the CM Punk haters. The only thing that I can see them just now getting erupted in, if he just disrupted a pay-per-view of some sort, to where now you've really taken it to another step, to where now you've got a new reason to hate him. I mean, he's basically done everything in the world for you to dislike this motherfucker. Him fucking up a major show would probably be the only other thing that I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe sandbagging moves, shit like that. That doesn't seem like Punk. So maybe we've seen the worst that we've possibly seen out of CM Punk, and I'm sure as soon as I said that, it would do something stupid.
As far as the priest botch goes, that's really unfortunate, and I'm glad he's okay, because I was like, Drew McIntyre was so good in that part by saving it that it made me question what I saw. I was like, did he do that on purpose? I was like, what the fuck just happened? Because it looked bad.
Oh, he looked bad off the jump, and I was like, okay, so what we gonna do? And for 10 or 15 seconds, you had that little pause. The ref's trying to, get a Priest's leg out of the rope, and God bless Drew McIntyre. He was the Snoop Dogg of that match. He says, fuck it. We just going to keep going with it. And he just started beating his ass. I was like, oh okay.
Good on him.
I ain't mad at you. I get it. Because now if you don't, you got a hot crowd literally in your hand, and you don't want to give that away. So in that scenario, I have no problem with Drew going after him.
I'll say this: he was talking the whole time he was doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was talking shit.
Damian Priest is rising to the occasion. Damian Priest this was a good match. As good of a match as those two guys can probably have in WWE.
Considering the accident happening, yeah, I think that's as.
And then Monday night,
solid as you can get.
Monday night, he had a good night as champ too. Skipping ahead real fast, but I like that Seth came out and Seth has a grievance with him. He's like, all right. He's like, you got the next title shot. That's cool to me.
No, it reestablishes him as a champion, not even necessarily a fighting champion, but
he's not a chicken shit.
He's not a chicken shit, and I think
he's rolling the turnstile.
And I think that's the I guess, the mode they're trying to put Damian Priest in, to where now he's slowly but surely being his own man, bigger than Judgment Day. And when that split ultimately happens, then you can really just have him be a standalone kind of guy. Same with Rhea Ripley as a standalone kind of girl. And then you can split them off, still have Judgment Day if you want them to have them there. Obviously, there's another heel faction that's making their appearance. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Let's jump back 2 steps to the Intercontinental title match, Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Once again, Chad Gable getting another chance at the Intercontinental Championship. I did not know this was going to be a 5th straight loss. If he took the L on this, if I'd have known that, I probably wouldn't have took Sami, or took Chad Gable. But neither here nor there. Once again, another good match. Once again, Alpha Academy being involved without really being involved, but distracting Chad Gable enough to where he does take the L. And then obviously we saw on Monday night I would consider it the official split of Alpha Academy. I'll just say this. This match was as good as I thought it would be. No problems with it. I'll just look at it from 2 things spin it forward. For Chad Gable, obviously in kayfabe, he took the beat down at the end of Monday night, and it's going to be out of the Money in the Bank qualifying match, correct? Dragunov is going to take his spot. So if this is going to be a chance where I'm assuming that he's re-signed and they're just going to take him off television to sell the fact of this attack, fine. When he comes back, I don't need to see him going after the Intercontinental Championship anymore. We need to give that shit a rest. 5 straight L's is 5 straight L's. Let's give it a rest.
This is one of those matches that, if I'm being honest, is really unfortunate it's in WWE, because WWE tells more stories. They tell better stories. But this is a match between 2 guys that you want to see wrestle, and you don't buy into a single near fall before shenanigans start happening, because you know that shenanigans are coming.
I appreciate JCB's take, but it's like, I like Jim Kelly too.
Fuck that. He made the AFC look bad for a better part of a decade.
Eventually, you got to quit betting with him.
Look, I'm not saying, trust me, I betted with my heart on that one, and I have no problem admitting to that, and that's on me. This was just as good as any of the other matches. I'm looking forward to more so when Chad Gable comes back, because like I said, I'm assuming he's re-signed. Otherwise,
listen, the match was awesome. The match was good, but it's just like, you just don't buy any of the near falls until the shit starts happening. You're just waiting for the shit to start happening. So the first 12 minutes of it, you're watching 2 guys that can really wrestle, and there's no point to it.
No, I won't go that far. It's still setting the foundation for a story that ultimately ended on Monday night.
But the foundation for Sami Zayn and Chad Gable has already occurred. Like, nothing in the first 12 minutes of that match is. I'm just
talking about the match.
It gets the crowd. Yeah. You have. I don't know. It's like you watch so much fucking wrestling. I watch so much fucking wrestling. It's like.
No, I get what you're saying. I'll just say, for me, I was still invested.
They're gonna get their shit in.
Yeah.
You know.
Fine. Do all that good shit. Yeah, reel me in, and then when the shenanigans start, I'll be more invested.
Hogan's gonna flex. Hogan's gonna flex.
Flair's gonna woo.
I could watch Chad Gable do that rolling German suplex thing. I could watch him do that over again.
That's a dope move considering the size of Chad Gable.
Yeah, and some of the guys that he does it to.
I would count.
One. Didn't he do it to fucking? He did it to Jonah, right? He did it to Bronson Reed.
It was either Bronson Reed or Gunther. I was going to say.
Well, I know he did the Gunther.
Where he rolled him. Yeah, he did it multiple times.
Anyway, this was fine. It's like they should have just had Otis turn all the way right there, but it was clear that they were building towards one big storyline thing, and it was CM Punk at the end, so they probably didn't want to ruin it at the beginning, which
is
makes sense.
Yeah,
yep.
Okay.
Then don't have the match.
No, well,
there was only 5 matches. They could have found something else.
Who else are you going to have on there? Logan Paul is not going to be on there.
No, Karrion Kross versus Xavier Woods.
No, see, I know you full of shit on that. Okay, I know you full of shit on that. Give me a motherfucking break. I thought of you on Monday night and shaking my head like, This motherfucker gonna flip heel, and this motherfucker Bill won't even give two shits about it. It's the funniest shit done.
They could have given Austin Theory. They could have given Austin Theory and Grayson. I'd love to see Grayson Waller heel off on Scotland. That would be fucking hilarious.
I think he did on Twitter, and then had to delete that shit. If I'm not mistaken, he did show his ass.
He pulled the Bill Vegas special. I've been running, so guess what I can do? Backpedal.
I was like, let me go ahead and delete this shit. Last match, at least the fourth match, but the last match we're going to talk about for Clash of the Castle was for the WWE Women's title, Bayley versus Piper Niven. Piper Niven coming home, same way with Drew. I thought she got an amazing reception. I thought she did really well in this match. Unfortunately for her, Bayley did pull it out. Not a surprise. I thought this was a precursor to Bayley, Nia Jax, but just for this spot in this vacuum, I thought Piper Niven did nothing to make me think of her any less.
It had to give the company confidence in Piper Niven as a performer.
Well,
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she can be in a title
program
feud,
somewhere down the line. So hopefully.
And win it somewhere down the line.
So hopefully that's what the higher-ups, Triple H and others, took away from this match. For Bayley, Bayley's just Bayley. I mean, honestly, I like Bayley. I mean, quiet as it's kept, she's
great.
A legit, and I'll use in quotes, Hall of Fame of any of the four horsewomen. She's a slam dunk, quote-unquote, Hall of Famer. I mean, she's basically done it all, and now at this point, we're just adding to her legacy. I'm just curious to see how far she's going to...
I mean, she is not on the way down. I would say she's at her peak right now.
Yeah. I think this is
Bayley firing on all cylinders. I mean, she did that damage control shit for like 2 years. They debuted at SummerSlam, and then they just broke up right before WrestleMania. So like a full year and a half of damage control, and damage control was on TV a lot.
And Bayley being the front of that. So
she's a great heel.
Hey, and just wait till Charlotte comes back.
I know.
Didn't think about that, but let's talk about it. Is Charlotte Bayley something that we're interested in, or are we feeling more? Or well, I was getting ready to say, are we flipping it to the other side? Liv Morgan hanging out on the other side. Which would you rather see, Charlotte Bayley or Charlotte Liv Morgan?
I don't care what Liv Morgan does. I want to see Charlotte versus Bayley. Like that's the match, and then Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. Like I like what Liv Morgan is doing, but
I want to see Charlotte versus anything.
Yeah, Charlotte,
she's
incredible.
When I see Charlotte on there, I'm like, yep, doing this. I don't care if she's fighting
big match Charlotte.
I don't care if she's fighting three bear.
She has a lot.
I'm watching that match.
Man. When she has a big match, she comes through. She's had a lot of great matches. A ton.
I'm not saying that.
And Bayley's awesome.
No.
And Charlotte's a natural heel. Have her come back and be a heel and have it be Bayley Charlotte.
Yeah, and just talk shit and just go for that another title.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. I'm not saying I miss Charlotte, but just throw in the mix, have a Bayley Charlotte.
FTW.
Stop, nigga. Damn.
It's not a real belt.
I'll say.
Yeah, but it got add. That'd be like 15, right?
I would watch Charlotte versus Jericho.
I was about to say it's not a recognized title, so we can't give it the 15 title.
I would watch Charlotte versus Hook.
Oh yeah, I'd watch that.
Oh, dude, boy. she's like 6 inches taller than him.
I would watch Charlotte versus Hook. That'd be fun.
It'd be like watching a mom.
I was just thinking about Charlotte versus Jericho. How come we never talk about this when we're talking about dream matches?
Dude, Charlotte.
If it's a dream match, you can go intergender.
Hey, Charlotte versus Hook would be like watching like a mom beat her kid in Target.
Stop.
I'd watch Angle versus Rousey. Angle could get a good match out of her.
Good. No.
Fuck you.
That's a great Twitter question.
No.
Could Angle get a good match out of Ronda Rousey?
No. Hell no. Okay.
Angle in his prime.
No, good.
Yes, he could.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to let you tell it.
Move on.
Thank you. Let's go over to Monday Night Raw, where obviously the aforementioned Seth Rollins makes his return, talks about winning Money in the Bank. Damian Priest challenges him for the world title. That is going to be a Money in the Bank match now for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Priest versus Seth Rollins. Interest high, mid, low to a Priest-Seth Rollins feud then match at Money in the Bank?
High, really high. I don't know who's going to win. I think they could go either way.
I was thinking the same thing when I saw it.
and Seth Rollins took the appropriate amount of time off, it feels like. It's nice to have him back. The Raw is better with Seth Rollins on the show. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, I disagree with that.
He looked refreshed, and I liked his outfit.
Yeah, that outfit was something, all right. I'll say that much. It looked like...
I know something about the Money in the Bank suitcase.
What was Umaga's manager's name? He wore all white. He had the hat.
I didn't watch during the Umaga shit.
That's who he reminded me of.
Kerwin White?
Immediately. No, hell no. Chad Gable.
Kerwin White.
Chad Gable quarters had a pierce.
Of course it's White.
Yeah, of course. He says he's going for the Money in the Bank. Obviously, that's not happening because of the Wyatts. Speaking of Chad Gable, he loses to Braun Strowman. We'll talk about him more in a bit. Damian Priest, Finn Balor backstage. Finn's saying that he's going to win Money in the Bank and then cash it in on Cody Rhodes, you suckers. Everybody was getting ready to fall for that. I'm not falling for that. God bless you, Finn. I like the sneakiness of Finn lately, snaking the hotel key. Now, playing with Damian Priest's emotions. Finn Balor is set to have an interesting 2024. We can stop here if you want.
I mean, they could easily take the belt. This just got me. The wheels are turning. They could easily take the belt off of Damian Priest by Seth Rollins, have Seth Rollins Gunther at SummerSlam, and have Priest versus Finn at SummerSlam, and that would be another big match if they wanted to.
Yeah, but if Priest doesn't have the title, why is it a big match?
Because it's the Judgment Day breakup.
Assuming
so it's
have
like,
Rhea come back in the middle and destroy them all.
So it's like the third.
Man, that is a good idea.
Calm down.
But then it's like still like the third match on the card. Like you're not.
Yeah, but
opening
still,
with
it's a SummerSlam match though, and it looks good on paper.
It would make sense only if we made a build from now to SummerSlam.
Oh my God! Think if they did that. Think if they had Finn versus Priest at SummerSlam. Follow me. This is me with the pencil.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
These guys are in the middle of a 15-minute slobber knocker. They have a real great build to it. Rhea hasn't shown up yet. Everybody's like, when's Rhea come back? Oh, she's not coming back for SummerSlam. That's weird. You have Rhea interfere in the Finn Balor Damian Priest match and just have her destroy them both. And be like, fuck you guys. You guys couldn't keep the Judgment Day together? God damn, that would be fucking huge if Rhea came out and beat up those two dudes. Oh my God, she'd be the biggest star in the fucking world, guys. Yeah, she'd be in the Marine 7.
But you know exactly why she'd do that? Because the Judgment Day has small hands.
Stop.
I'm just saying, that would be fucking massive. Give me the pencil.
Damn, dog. I was about to say, you just killing motherfuckers off like that. Okay. I mean, look, I'm not saying that I don't hate the idea.
I'm not sure how much Priest and Balor lose by having Rhea Ripley beat them up.
Well,
if they're already 15 minutes into a match and they're both like knocked out or something, and you just have Rhea come out and destroy them, I'm booking it. Yeah, but if Priest, you don't like it, you can go to Impact.
No. He's not going to go to Impact. If you don't like it, go over to AEW and mid-card.
Oh, stop.
No.
Ask Pac what it's like to job.
Yikes. Okay, moving on. Io Sky versus Kiana James versus Zelina Vega. Winner gets the spot in the Money in the Bank qualifying match. For the ladies' side, Io Sky wins. Obviously, you ain't right. You ain't shit, nigga. Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan have a beef in the middle of the match. So this feels like a spinoff where Io is going to go to the Money in the Bank match, obviously. And I'll just say this. When I was watching this match, and this is just, I'm going to fantasy book for 30 seconds. If I did Money in the Bank, I wouldn't have any former world champions in the match, qualifying or otherwise. If we're going to make a star, then let's make a fucking star. This is the chance to actually do this shit.
Like they'd always have Kane in there. It's like, get Kane the fuck out of there.
Okay, Io is there for the high flying moves, high spots, whatever you want to call it. Okay, fair enough. I get that. But for me personally, I like the fact that if you're going to do it, let's do it the way it was intended on being done. Let's create a new star.
That doesn't bother me at all, really.
Fair enough.
I think if you have somebody whose name is Genius of the Sky, you better have her in your big fucking ladder match.
Look, like I said, I understand it. I'm just, for me, if I was the dude,
I'm just saying I understand.
Yeah, right. I ain't saying you kill a bitch, but I understand.
I'm not saying OJ should have done it. I'm just saying I understand.
Braun Breaker, Ricochet, we saw them. Another clip of that. Once again, Ricochet feels like more and more he's riding off into the sunset as Braun Breaker is ascending to the top of the card. Next segment out, obviously, Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, and Sheamus have a segment between them. Braun Breaker interrupts Sami Zayn, and then obviously Sheamus comes out in pursuit of the one title that he's never won, the Intercontinental Championship. Go ahead.
They have done Braun Breaker fucking perfect. You could not have introduced him as a character. This is one of those memorable, and I think back to like Kurt Angle, this is like one of those memorable first years in the new roster, just your introduction to him on the main roster, and they have done him perfect. He was irrationally angry because he wasn't included in the King of the Ring tournament, and he's been destroying dudes ever since. Sami Zayn gets done with this Chad Gable thing, and you put him right up against Sami Zayn. He's got to beat Sheamus first. He acts all hard to Sheamus. He's like, fine, come on, old man. Has a fucking killer match with him. And now it looks like we're staring down the Sami Zayn Braun Breaker program, which to me is very exciting.
I would be lying if I said I was thinking Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, but I'm with you. I am very intrigued. They have done Braun no disservice, making him look like a absolute killing machine. Obviously, the moment of the night was the spear on Ludwig Kaiser, and credit to Ludwig Kaiser, he sold it well. Where when you saw them, coming for impact,
you can
Ludwig jumped up just enough to where like Braun Breaker caught him in the middle of the come down and just speared the shit out of him. I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest fucking thing ever.
Yeah, Ludwig Kaiser can fucking sell. Sometimes I look at Ludwig Kaiser and I'm like, oh yeah, you played soccer with that kid. Dude, you can fucking sell, dude.
It was like 70% spear, 40% Ludwig Kaiser, 50% the ground underneath him, 25% the atmosphere, and then like 40 more % the crowd. It was great.
Vice math over there.
Steiner math, yeah.
No, that's vice math. Fuck Steiner. Just say you can wait for that. That's fucking vice math over there. Dragon Lee loses to Carlito. Little bit of surprise. Said it before. Dragon Lee is someone I thought would be more of an impact player on the main roster. A part of me, I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking it was like, damn, I wish he could go back to NXT. At least he gets some play there. It just feels like Dragon Lee's in a weird spot where he needs to be pushed, but ain't getting pushed. Losing to Carlito in a fuckery kind of way.
The WWE audience cannot handle more than one guy in a mask. It's proven throughout time. They haven't been conditioned for it. Dragon Lee can't get over until Rey Mysterio steps aside. Rey Mysterio is a selfish dad, a bad dad. Just ask Dom. And he's also a selfish wrestler. Get out of the way. Move out of the way for Dragon Lee.
Well, Dragon Lee's going to step up when Ricochet gets pushed aside, right? Because they're pretty much...
If he takes off his mask...
They're pretty much playing the same card in the same room.
He's got to take off his mask.
I don't think the mask has anything to do with anything.
I do.
I don't, man.
I'm telling you.
I'm sorry. There's
only room for one mask guy to the WWE universe. I'm not saying it's right.
I can't buy.
I'm just telling you how it is.
I love you. I can't buy what you're telling.
Hey, he just
I can't stop the rain, but I can give you the best umbrella.
Thanks, Rihanna. You can stand under my... All right, let me stop. Drake, right? I was doing an album fire. Shut up. They find Shayna and Zoe backstage. Looks like they're going to have a match amongst themselves. No Jade, no Bianca. At least yet, we'll see them on SmackDown on Friday night. I'm sure they'll have some sort of segment with them and them wanting a rematch because obviously neither one of those women got pinned. Neither here nor there. That should be coming up here in a little bit. You see the CM Punk segment we were talking about with him grabbing the referee's shirt to come out to the ring. You have the official, I would assume, split of Alpha Academy where Chad Gable is now looking forward to big things. But once again, We'll talk about Chad Gable in a little bit. Drew McIntyre officially, quote-unquote, quits WWE. We can stop right here because I think this is a good place to stop. I like the fact that Drew McIntyre is taking it 1-2 steps further, deleting social media. If you're going to lean into it, let's lean into this
Did he
shit.
delete his social media?
Yes.
Oh, good for him.
So at that point, I'm like, okay, I don't believe it, but you're at least
You know that
sticking to-
motherfucker can't quit cold turkey. You know he's got
You
a
got a burner
burner.
account.
You know he's got an alt.
Look at him.
You know what I'm saying? You know he's got a burner account sitting around. I said the same thing, too. I ain't even gonna lie. I was like, this motherfucker ain't done. He run around on Twitter just can't respond to shit, just looking at motherfuckers talking crazy shit. I love the fact that Drew was just, his character's just so done at this point. You know what? I can't get CM Punk. He's cost me the title twice.
Well,
fuck this shit. I'm out.
You know he's on Twitter as Ian Dwyer.
Yeah. So after the pay-per-view, Peacock was just still running, because it was on in the afternoon, and I was running around. I was walking around the house doing shit. Excuse me, but Wade Barrett was fucking pissed.
I saw that.
At CM Punk.
I saw that.
So it does look like they're telling some kind of story with this, like CM Punk, and them like focusing on what happened backstage. That they definitely want us to be like, this guy did something wrong. Like they're focusing on it. So maybe there is a story about, I don't know. Maybe he gets suspended until they can have a SummerSlam match or something like that.
If you want to dig
He works pretty hard these days, so they should give him a vacation.
If you want to dig into the WWE/F archives, I can't remember when it was. I'm sure probably more so as WWE. CM Punk did take the Nexus away from Wade Barrett. So if you want to play that into this storyline, if this is going to be something bigger than just what we see on TV, why Wade Barrett's so pissed, if Wade Barrett gets involved in a CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud, you could easily explain that into this
What
feud.
is Wade Barrett's injury?
Ugh. That is a very good question. I don't know why he's not wrestling.
I guess
anymore.
I've never even thought about him coming back. Is there any chance of him wrestling again, or is he done?
Is he like allergic to CM Punk or what?
I don't think so. I think that I would love to see Bad News Barrett back.
I'm sure. I think it's an injury where he can't come back to wrestle. I think that's the case. If it's not, I wouldn't mind a one-off Punk versus Wade Barrett. If you wanted to go that route, I think honestly it's an injury where he can't come back.
I was a big Wade Barrett mark.
I like Wade Barrett. I thought they did him dirty.
They did.
He was an up-and-coming heel, and then they snatched the rug from underneath them with John Cena destroying the Nexus. I think that was a Survivor Series, and he was never the same.
That was Bulldozer Cena.
Okay, League of Nations, get the fuck out of here. That was doomed from the start.
Those guys were good, though. Who the fuck was that? That was Sheamus, Barrett, Rusev, and Del
Alberto.
Rio. Oh man, that's a dope team.
And look, if you'd have did that under the Triple H regime, I'd have had a much more like, okay, maybe this has some sort of legs to it. Under Vince, man, Vince was just throwing them jokers together. This is your jobber
Is
faction.
that who it was? It was Sheamus, Barrett, Rusev, and Del Rio.
No, not Rusev. Yeah, it was Rusev. Rusev, Del Rio, Sheamus, and Wade Barrett. That was the League of Nations.
That is a fucking stack team.
Yeah, but if you look at it upon retrospect, you're like, damn.
You got Sheamus's Murdoch out there. That is a fucking killer's row, man.
When you look back on it, you're like, damn, that could have actually worked if you'd have
If
put some
Sheamus is the
investment
worst
into it.
dude in your faction, that's a pretty good faction.
Sheamus is not worse than Del Rio. Del Rio
I'm a
is
Del
like,
Rio mark, except for all the assault stuff.
Man, that says a lot.
okay, so let's
I
play
love
the
Del
game.
Rio.
Let's play the game.
Del Rio.
Rank the League of Nations worst to best.
Are you asking me, like,
Yeah.
just personally, who do I
Yes.
like the best?
Yeah, rank them worst to best.
Oh, well, my favorite out of those guys is Rusev, and then I'd go Barrett, and then I'd go Del Rio, then I'd go Sheamus. That's just my personal rankings. I think that's a fucking wild team, man.
Look, like,
Have a good name too.
go ahead, Vice.
No. I'm not even picking up the mic.
I'll do the same just because I asked you to do it. I put you on the spot. I'll do the same for
We are
myself.
really going off on tangents tonight.
Del Rio 4, Sheamus 3, Rusev 2. Wade Barrett, to me, is totally underrated and should have gotten a lot more run. I'll put him at 1.
Okay, good.
Jesus Christ. Katana Chance and Caden Carter beat Kairi Sane and Dakota Kai. Post-match, Io Sky runs down Damage Control. So something's happening there. Not sure what it is. Asuka's coming back from injury, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. We do finally get Sheamus versus Braun Breaker. That ends in a DQ as Ludwig Kaiser pulls Sheamus out of the ring, and then obviously all hell breaks loose from that point. Spear of the Year from Braun Breaker. Liv and Dom have their backstage segment. Once again, Liv waving the forbidden fruit in Dom's face. Dom fighting it, where Damian Priest comes out of the blue to save Dom's narrow ass again from temptation. Liv Morgan is doing a really good job where I'm starting to like her a little more, and I'm counting the days until Rhea Ripley does finally come back.
Yeah, Liv's good.
I didn't like her at first. Now I'm starting to get on board with this shit. Cross and New Day have their segment. I wouldn't say not surprising. Surprising in the sense where Kofi just jumped in front of Xavier Woods. Every time it felt like Xavier Woods was going to say something, Kofi said something to him. And it looks like this might be the split that nobody's thinking is happening, but Xavier Woods' body language, just his mannerisms, not necessarily feels like they're on the same page. Wouldn't be surprised to see Xavier Woods turn on Kofi Kingston, which would blow my mind. In the main event match, go ahead, Vice.
No, I was just gonna say with Xavier Woods and Kobe, it's like when you see your good buddy and he's fighting with his girlfriend, and you know they're about to break up, but you're like, hey, come on, we still have a lot of fun. Can we please keep it together?
Kofi,
we sell a lot of cool T-shirts, and we have a lot of fun. Can we and she's got a lot of hot friends. Can you not break up with her right now?
please let them break up. I just want to see it. That's all. I just want to see it. I just want to see what it looks like.
You want to see Xavier Woods as a heel?
Yeah, I do.
Give you a reason to justify the hatred you have for Xavier Woods?
That shit is justified as shit. I don't need to justify my Xavier Woods hatred.
Main event match. You have Jey Uso versus Finn Balor versus Rey Mysterio. Men's qualifying Money in the Bank ladder match. Jey Uso wins. Not the biggest surprise. Just from the posters I've seen, Jey Uso already being on the Money in the Bank poster, it'd have been a little weird if he wasn't at least in the match. I don't know. I need to see more with who's in this.
He's a favorite.
He's a favorite. I don't know if he wins, but immediately him being in this match is a favorite. Here's a question, and then we can move to the Wyatt part of the segment. If Jey loses, does this hurt him? I mean, it feels like we keep getting Jey Uso to a point, and then we pull him back. This is another big spot for Jey Uso. Does it hurt more if he doesn't win the match, or does it hurt more if he wins it and is unsuccessfully cashes this shit in?
It's more hurtful if he wins it and doesn't cash in. I do not see that happening. I see Jey Uso winning it, and I see him cashing in.
Successfully?
Yes.
Okay. Obviously.
Maybe on Cody. There's a story there.
Nigga. Ooh. Yeah. Now you get to have the pencil back. Take the pencil back. Obviously, to close out Monday Night Raw, we had the debut of the Wyatt Six. Many QR codes, many disturbances on SmackDown and Raw, finally leading up to the lights going out and Sister Abigail, a.k.a. Nikki Cross, coming out and pointing towards the back of the stage, in the backstage area. Demolition, chaos, blood everywhere. Obviously, we saw Chad Gable being put to bed. There is rumors. I think I saw Braun Strowman down. I'm not sure if anybody else saw Braun Strowman down, but Braun Strowman is one of the rumored names that was in the attack from the Wyatt Six, so that to me is interesting.
That he was attacked?
He was attacked backstage before they went back into Gorilla. He's one of the guys that was attacked backstage. I've watched it 3 times. It looks like him, but I can't say for sure it's him. And depending on what you read, who you listen to, it's 50-50.
I was watching it on my phone at work, so, like, it wasn't the best.
It was dark for a reason. I think they purposely showed you Chad Gable for a reason.
Yeah, and like John Lemonada said on Facebook, it looked like he had been shot in the head. That's what I thought, too. I was like, is he supposed to be shot in the fucking head?
I was like, damn.
Because there was like a blood spatter behind his head.
My thought was, like...
And then I was like, that's weird.
Like they're
just back there shooting people?
Yeah, right. Well, old boy did have the hammer, so, I mean, you can go from that point. Okay, so ultimately...
It's supernatural. It's supernatural.
It's real spooky stuff.
Okay,
Real
so
spooky shit.
So obviously the Wyatts 6 destroys everything backstage. Uncle Howdy comes out. They come out. Only 5 members are on stage. So I'll make this a 2-part question. I'll put it on Friends of BFR, so I'll just ask you directly.
Okay.
Thumbs up, thumbs down for this segment. For the segment, for the Wyatts 6, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down. I mean... Listen, am I interested to see who the guys are and what it's going to look like when all this spooky stuff is over? Yeah, I mean, I want to see a new faction. It's cool to have a new faction. Just the same way that all due respect to Bray Wyatt, I was not his biggest fan. I did not like all the spooky stuff. I liked Firefly Funhouse and stuff. But when he did all the spooky stuff, it didn't work when he did it. And he was charismatic as fuck. So it's going to take somebody really good to be at the head of this thing to make this thing work. And I just can't picture Bo Dallas doing it. If that's the plan.
Well, I think that's, I wouldn't say clearly, but
who were the people? It was Nikki Cross was in there. Rowan was in there.
Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy. Dexter Loomis.
Dexter Loomis is in it?
Dexter Loomis is in it.
Lars Sullivan?
No, I don't think we're going that far. Bo Dallas, Dexter Loomis, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, and Nikki Cross. So that was the 5 people that were in. So here's the second question.
Who's the 6th one?
Who's the 6th?
Otis. That's why Gable was laid out like that.
You think so?
I don't know. I'll tell you what, it'd be really funny if they tried being real spooky at the beginning and then it was just Otis out there doing the worm. That'd be pretty fucking. I would actually like that. That would not even appeal to me. I'll just ask the same questions. Sorry. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah, but he's doing the worm while he's eating worms.
Okay,
that's the type of shit that they would do.
Yeah, that's what I would.
Don't. Oh my God, this.
Ultimately, I thought it
Vince
was.
is screaming at the television.
Yeah, this is that shit. Ultimately, I thought it was a little over the top for me. It was a lot of more,
pal.
Yeah. It was a lot more questions than answers, which obviously that's what we're supposed to.
Well, they answered the biggest question, which is how dumb is this going to be? And it looks like it's going to be pretty dumb.
I'm not going to jump on that ship yet. Don't get me wrong. I have reservations just because, like I said, it just felt like this was I get what you're trying to do, but it felt just over the top.
In this new era with Triple H, where
that's the reason I'm giving it a chance.
But in this era, in which wrestling is presented more as a sport, and Triple H is out there shaking hands with even the heel winners of the King and Queen of the Ring. It's not because they're heels and he's a babyface. It's because he's the head of the company. So he goes out there and he shakes hands. It looks very corporate. It looks really slick. And you got Triple H back there trying to talk Drew McIntyre out of leaving and stuff like that. Like, it's presented as a real company. And then they got the Wyatts 6 coming in here. And they got them turning the lights out. It's like, how do you reconcile those two things? You can't. That's why it's always going to stand out like a sore thumb to me, because the rest of the product doesn't look spooky.
I can't disagree with much as what you said. I'll just reiterate, because Triple H is involved in some form or fashion, I would assume that Bo Dallas has creative control, but Triple H is going to, have his fingers on it in some form or fashion.
GSOOMW. Get spooky out of my wrestling.
Jesus Christ, fuck off. Tell him.
No, because I can't, because a part of me agrees with him. That's why I thought ultimately I was like, okay, I'm intrigued just because Triple H is involved, but do I like it? Is this something I'm interested in?
You know who'd be
Not really.
you know who'd be a good head of the Wyatt 6? Yano.
Fuck off. I'll answer that second
Yano
question.
just shows up, he takes off the rabbit mask and shrugs.
No shit.
He does his Yano shrug.
I'll kiss my ass. Alexa Bliss
That'd be
and
tight.
or Braun
I'd pop.
Strowman is my guess is the 6th member.
Yeah, okay.
Outside of that wraps up WWE. Don't necessarily need to talk about SmackDown. Obviously, that was pre-Clash of the Castle, and a lot of those storylines will be flushed out on Friday night. So we'll talk about that next week. But a very interesting week in WWE. Whether you like the Wyatts or not, they're definitely being talked about. We're definitely going to talk about your boy Joe Hendry on NXT because he's apparently he has the most likes on YouTube for the week.
Let's just do that right here.
Man from Ringside.
So obviously NXT this week.
The one count part 2.
Yeah, obviously NXT this week started with the Battle Royal for the number 1 spots to face Trick Williams at Heatwave. And one of the first faces that we saw was Joe Hendry, which I did not know was coming out. I purposely didn't want to get spoiled so I could watch this and be genuinely excited. And we popped out. I was like, oh, shit. The NXT universe erupted. I'm sitting there, in awe watching this fool come out. I'm a big Joe Hendry guy. I think in TNA, he hasn't gotten the run I expected.
Well, that song he had was a big hit, right?
His theme song?
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
But it was like number 1 on the UK charts or something like that.
That I don't know.
Well, he is crossed over. Like, people know who he is who are not into wrestling, is what I'm saying, right? Am I...
His shit is on TikTok, and so his face has gotten out there more and more. So, just as...
I mean, judging by the numbers on him coming out, it got more than the Wyatt 6 is what they said.
Yes. And that's saying something more than some of the AEW debuts,
Yeah.
Ospreay, Okada, Mercedes. So, I mean, in that scenario alone, whatever they're doing,
Man,
TNA and NXT
is going to be huge on the CW.
It's going to be big. You keep this shit going with TNA and don't fuck
hot
it up.
right now.
As long as both sides can play ball and don't let the corporate politics get involved, everybody can get over.
I'm just saying they have a hot product and they're getting ready to go on network television.
I agree.
Yeah,
so that's a big deal.
It's not going to be Dawson's Creek, but it's going to be huge.
I mean, lots of people watch wrestling. They just want to watch something live.
I'm thinking that at a Tuesday night spot where more eyes could see it, it might do better. I don't think NXT is doing poorly. I just think it'll be.
To get over.
See, he gets it. This guy gets it. He gets it.
Katie Holmes.
Dawson's Creek. Wow. I was more of a One Tree Hill kind of guy.
Horny Thursday.
Were you a One Tree Hill kind of guy?
Yeah, I was going to say Sophia Bush.
Sophia Bush, yes.
Sophia what?
Take it easy. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Obviously.
Horny Thursday.
Yeah, right. Javon Evans wins the Battle Royal, but then loses to Ethan Page in the main event. Problem with, do you like a rematch of Ethan Page, Trick Williams?
Well, that's not what's happening, right?
Okay, that's happening.
Ethan Page won that and took it away from Javon Evans?
So Ethan Page was attacked by Oral Mensa before the match got started. So Ethan Page comes backstage, corners Ava. Hey, I was attacked before the match got started. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still in. The Battle Royal is still going on because I was never eliminated. So Javon Evans comes out. It's like, you want some? Come get some. They made it the main event. And then Ethan Page beats Javon Evans.
So now it's Ethan Page versus Trick Williams?
Part 2.
Well, now Ethan Page should win.
How you gonna have Ethan Page beat Trick?
I think you gotta have Trick in chase mode.
You think he's gonna whoop that?
he gets completely wronged. You have Ava turn heel. I'm kidding about that part. I just like Ethan Page.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I like Ethan Page too.
I'm not as high on Trick Williams as everybody else.
I think he's got a ton of potential. I just think this is done a lot.
God damn, that's meaner than anything I could have said.
No, I don't think that's meaner than anything. No, I think he's got a ton of fucking potential. I mean, the physical talent is there. The character, that's the work. It's always going to be something.
I'm completely fine with Ethan Page versus Trick Williams.
Okay,
completely fine with me.
Fair enough.
Let's get.
No, that's basically. No, I was going to say the OC. Doing their OC thing. I was going to make fun of them, but I could wait.
Well, I mean, they just made it out of catering. They were like, all right, cool. The chicken wings in here suck. We'll just come out here and dance around.
Serena Deeb comes out and changes out of Schaefer.
And then cashes out Apollo Crews for busting the table.
Dude, I'm dead. What is she doing over here in WWE?
Okay, so we're on to AEW. I'm gonna skip Rampage. It was 5 matches that I didn't watch, and I read about it. And it's like, okay, well, that's fine.
Good thing I watched it.
I guess the really okay. Do you have anything to say about Rampage?
I mean, Tony. With Alex Windsor, I thought it was a really good match, just in the simple fact that Alex Windsor does have ties to Will Ospreay, obviously. The woman he's dating, baby mama. I'm assuming they're not married yet. Neither here nor there. I think she's a good talent, and to have her against Toni Storm.
Unprofessional bullshit.
I'll at least watch the shit, motherfucker. Have her against Toni Storm was good, but the more interesting part of it was the fact that you still see Toni Storm softening to Mariah May, opening up the fact that Mariah May could stab her in the back at any given point, especially if she wins the Owen Hart tournament.
I'm gonna skip some of this stuff on Collision. Also, I did watch Collision. I watched all of it. Listen, I read about Rampage. There's every time I read about Rampage, it's like, well, I didn't have to watch that. That really is for the sickos. Rampage, Blackpool Combat Club versus Leo Rush, TMDK. And then who else do I have written down here?
Rocky.
Oh yeah, Rocky Romero. Don't really have to talk about that. Moxley cuts a promo afterwards, says, I'm gonna end you, Naito. He cuts a fiery promo. Jason's rolling his eyes. Jason, Naito's gonna win that back from Moxley, right? There's no question, right? 100% chance.
No, I don't think there's a 100% chance. I think it's a legitimate coin flip. I really do.
I think Naito's winning it back.
Okay, so like I said,
Billy's taking the lead pipe block of the week.
Yeah, it's my lead pipe block of the week.
Sucker. Go Naito. Honestly, if Naito wins it back, then to me, what was the point of him losing it? Moxley to me is
to give him a break.
Moxley to me is fine as the champion. It's not my choice, but hopefully he can get other guys over.
What is your level of excitement for Moxley Naito 2?
4.
Out of 100?
Out of 10. I'll be nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that yours was going to be higher just because you're such a Naito guy. But, yeah, I'm at about a 4.
To me, it's lose-lose. If Moxley wins, then, okay, he feels like he's kind of supposed to win. If Naito wins, then why do we give Moxley this title run? Because all the matches that he's had, Naito could have had those same matches, and nobody would have blinked. So, to me, it doesn't serve a purpose.
You know who I feel bad for? Dalton Castle.
Nigga. Dude.
He deserves better.
A little bit, yeah. All bullshit aside.
He's out there jobbing to Hechicero, which is fine. I know, obviously they like Hechicero, but is it Hechicero?
No, you said it right, Hechicero. But that to me is like what I was saying last week. All of a sudden now, you got the CMLL guys coming back, and, they're getting, play a month from now, 2 months from now. That's, are we going to see them again, or is this just for Forbidden Door? Dalton Castle needs to just be on just ROH and just let him run down ROH. Every time you see him in AEW, you see this shit.
He's such a good character. And then there's a bit of a schmoz out there. Daniel Garcia comes out. Daniel Garcia is like I guess he's just like a roaming babyface. Like, I don't know who he's aligned with. He just seems like a babyface that everybody likes. That's always kind of like buzzing around the upper mid card, but is never really in it. I kind of wish they'd give him something a little bit more focused to do. Daniel Garcia is a lot better than he gets a lot of TV time, and I'm sure that he might. I would wager a guess that he's happy with AEW. He's probably making pretty good money. But can we give the guy something to do?
Calling out Will Ospreay, to me, was that something to do, but unfortunately, you have him being Ospreay tied up with Swerve. So, we got to finish that before
there's all sorts of shit going on.
Before we can get Daniel Garcia on the move. So, but a lot of this could be prevented. Tony has booked himself into these spots where now it's just kind of like, okay, how you getting out of this one, James Bond?
It's like MJF said, he's a mark.
And God bless him for it. I love the fact that he's giving me crazy-ass matches. I'm like, damn, I never thought I'd see this shit.
He's literally living in his toy box.
Yeah, but now we're getting to a point where, you got MJF and Ospreay crossing paths. You're going to have Swerve and Ospreay in a couple weeks. Decisions are going to have to be made, and this is going to affect how AEW works going forward.
You know what AEW does that I wish they wouldn't do that WWE always did is that when a reporter is interviewing somebody in the back, like you got Top Flight and Leo Rush back there, and they have their little interaction. Looks like Leo Rush wants to be like, hey, I'll hang out with you guys. The guys leave, and then the camera just stays on the reporter, and like the woman just looks off into the distance. It's like, can you guys just cut it? Yeah. Just cut it. Like, why are we watching the reporter like ponder what they just said for a minute?
Right.
It's so fucking cheesy. I don't know why they do it. Anyway, Leo Rush talks to Top Flight. Patriarchy. That's all I got to say about that segment.
I was going to say, for those who don't remember, Leo and Dante were partners for a little bit when Darius was out with injury. This was a while ago.
I do not remember that.
It was a while ago.
Christian Cage comes out and just cuts a heel promo about the patriarchy. Said some stuff that actually made me wince to Nick Wayne. He said that the day his father died was the best day of his life.
I'm like, okay, all right. All right.
And then Nick Wayne and the guy's widow are just standing there smiling in
I'm
ring.
just like, what the fuck?
That is why there's nothing better than professional wrestling.
Okay.
Because that is a weird moment that is so outside the box of anything else you ever see in front of a live crowd in kayfabe. I mean, that is strange.
And that is one thing that you will only see in professional wrestling where us three will sit around, talk about it, cheer on it, and be like, oh, my God, this is great.
I was like, what the fuck did you just say?
Anything else, you'd be like, what the fuck? And this is this is why we can't explain professional wrestling to people who don't watch.
I mean, you either get it or you don't. I mean, it's true. You either get it or you don't.
Oh, man. It's like every time I think Christian has said everything or like one-upped himself, he comes up with something else. I'm just like, what the fuck is it? Hold up. Rewind this shit. What the fuck did he just say? Oh, man, no. This segment was just over the top. It's just the Luchasaurus / kill switch part is the thing I take away from it. It's the Otis angle in AEW. We're just waiting for kill switch to be like, you know what, fuck you, I'm out.
And then I'm going to skip ahead to the final match, which was House of Black versus the Bang Bang Gang. Buddy Matthews suffers a pretty bad injury in the middle of this match, doing a
Meteora.
Yeah, Meteora. Lands on his knee, immediately knows it, punches the ring. I watched it a few times because you could tell right where he got hurt. And that sucks. But the patriarchy come out, and it looks like the House of Black are turning into baby faces because the show ends with Christian backstage with Buddy Matthews with a chair or something over his leg and being like, we just took him out. So, was that the plan the whole time? And Buddy Matthews just happened to get hurt? Or did they see Buddy Matthews got hurt? Buddy Matthews is like, I'm going to have surgery. And they're like, ooh, let's do this angle.
From what I read, this was and
Journalist.
yeah, you know, I had some time this morning.
He talked to his sources. He's backed it up.
No,
JCB's ready to roll.
Two sources of confirmation. Joey and Bill. Yeah, right. I read this morning that this was all a plan to at least have Buddy Matthews get quote-unquote hurt so you can pull him away from the match, have House of Black win said match, but then have Buddy Matthews taken out by the patriarchy. So just...
Are you saying the injury was a work?
From what I read, all that you saw was planned.
Including the Buddy Matthews injury?
Including the Buddy Matthews injury. Take it for what it's worth. I saw it on K-Size Seats this afternoon, and I read the article.
I told you when we went and saw Collision that it was Buddy Matthews versus, it might have been versus Daniel Garcia. Yes, it was. And they had a match, and Bo and I thought that Buddy Matthews legit got injured in the middle of the ring. Yes. And then afterwards, I was like, holy shit. I mean, you could go back to the podcast that we did right after it because I was like, holy shit, I thought he was hurt the entire time. And it was a work. And I was like, that's a weird thing to do, is to kayfabe the shoot injury. And if that was a work, man, I got worked 100% because I'm sitting here telling you I cannot believe that they all played it off that well.
Like I said,
it even seemed like the referee started talking to guys.
It felt as legitimate of an injury angle that I've ever, and I hate to use the word angle, but when you see guys or girls get hurt in the ring, that's what it feels like, where you get the doctors out there and people are hovering over.
He got up, he hit the move, he punched the mat like he was pissed off because he knew it.
Something was hurt.
And then he pretended like he was going to try to finish the match. Well, I'm not even going to say he pretended because there's no way I believe it. I think that he got up and was like, I can maybe finish this match. And he put his weight on that leg one time and it collapsed underneath him. So if he was acting, give that boy an Emmy.
You might want to give that boy an Emmy. I'm just saying.
That's the second best wrestling acting job I've ever seen, next to Mark Henry's fake retirement.
Hey, you know what's better than giving him an Emmy? Giving him a beefer.
I mean, worked injury of the year. Beefer worked injury of the year.
I was about to say,
who wants a beefer?
I was about to say,
who wants a beefer?
He might have a point there because
we got some beefers over here.
I thought he was legitimately
y'all bring some beefers.
I was gonna say I thought he was legitimately hurt for a hot second.
They brought a couple beefers with them.
Yeah.
JCB walked up with a beefer in his pocket.
I'm just happy that we're bringing it up before it's time.
Dynamite starts off with
the beefers.
Dynamite. They're coming. They'll be here before you know it.
I know.
Dynamite starts off with MJF versus Roosh. No promo beforehand, straight to a match. Jason, what did you think of MJF versus Roosh and MJF going over?
Not the biggest surprise because obviously with Forbidden Door upon the horizon, you want to have MJF strong going into it. I thought this was one of the better Roosh matches that I've seen in a while. I don't know if he was hurt after the Continental Classic or not, but yeah, it was just disappointing that they haven't used him more in situations that would have built him up to where this felt like a bigger deal. Because to me, Roosh is one of those hidden gems on the roster that we just don't see enough of. The Don Callis part of it I thought was interesting. I didn't think I would see Don Callis and Roosh as a partnership in any form or fashion. As far as I was concerned, Roosh was still rolling with the faction in Gogonable, so I thought that would be, something that would come back, but apparently that's not going to happen anymore. So, I mean, I want Roosh to do well. I'm just not sure having him with Don Callis right now is the way to go. But ultimately, I thought Roosh did an amazing job here. Like, obviously, high on Roosh, MJF being the tweener that I think he is personally. Fans love him, but, we won't hesitate to low blow. He won't hesitate to poke Roosh's eye out, especially in the scenario where they're trying to trade blows and MJF is clearly not winning that trade battle. So in that scenario, I thought Roosh did as well as one could be expected across from MJF. Obviously, MJF going over, not the surprise. Hechicero versus MJF is kind of a surprise for the Forbidden Door match. Kind of similar to Moxley and Naito. Didn't really see that coming, and now it's here. I'm not too high on it. I love Hechicero. I think he's just a technical wizard in the ring, despite the bumps that he had. I guess that was Saturday night against Dalton Castle. Not the cleanest match, but I thought it was still a decent showing for him. So I'm excited to a certain degree, but ultimately, like I've said before, I just don't want CMLL to be used in a scenario just to get the AEW guys over. If you're going to have this partnership with CMLL, use it to where I want to now watch their matches in addition to the AEW.
Who
matches.
is MJF going to fight at?
Hechicero.
That's disappointing.
It's I won't say lackluster. It's anticlimactic.
Yeah. So Will Ospreay and Swerve get in the middle of the ring.
Yikes!
And I'll tell you what, I did not like this segment for about the first 3/4 of it, and then the final fourth of it, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I was like, "I want to see these two guys fight."
Why did you like it?
I thought the beginning they were, even as far as wrestling goes, it was a little hyperbolic. Like, Swerve was like, you got to sacrifice the love of your son. If I was Will Ospreay, I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I don't. Why would I have to do that? And then I really liked when they were screaming at each other, and Prince Nana grabs the mic and like, this is neither the place nor the time. It's like, actually, this is exactly the place and exactly the time.
The one time I don't want you to speak.
What are you talking about, man?
These jokers go.
They're on Dynamite. Like, what you think of the segment? I by the end of it, I was like, oh, I want to watch these guys fight. I really like Swerve going back in for the dig and naming his kids again.
Oh yeah,
his kid and his wife.
Yeah,
that was good stuff.
I was waiting for Swerve to be like, especially when Nana grabbed the mic. I was waiting for Swerve to be like, we will eat your kids' blueberries.
Okay.
Do you know that your stepson's blueberries?
Hey, we're gonna eat out. His wife's name is Al. We're gonna eat Al's blueberries.
And then when Nana grabbed the mic, I expected him to like not say anything and just swerve, just start swerving. That would have been the hardest shit ever.
No, I like your guys' ideas.
Ospreay gives him a super kick.
And I'm eating your kids' blueberries.
I thought it was good. Ultimately, I think
Ask Hangman.
Right.
It looked. I should clarify. It looked like for the first 3/4 of it that they were trying a little too hard, but it all came together at the end. I really enjoyed it. I give it a B+.
I won't say. I don't think they were trying too hard. I just think that maybe
it's just the vibe I got while I was watching it.
Maybe just you got the sacrificing. And I get what Swerve's trying to say. You're not going to see your kids as much. I get both sides of it. Ospreay saying, I can't carry both, belts, but I'll carry 3 titles in 3 different continents. Okay, both sides have their point. Ultimately, by the end, it made me more excited for this match. Even if it's just a little bit more, already excited. But still, after this, I'm like, okay, now you have just a little bit of personal shit to where now it feels like we got that friction we need to where, it's going to have an emotional investment into it. If you can get the emotion into this match, I think this match will be even better. It's going to be great to begin with, but if you get emotionally invested, it'll be even better.
The 4-on-4 match that happened after this, Zack Sabre Jr. was in it, so that was definitely worth watching. But it's another one of these matches. It's like
it's a party match.
It's a party match, and Zach loves them. They're not exactly my favorite when I'm trying to blast out a bunch of wrestling over a few days while I'm at work to watch it all. So I'll be honest, like I fast forwarded through most of it. Listen, I only got so much time in the day, and I was trying to watch the New Japan shit.
I'm telling.
Trying to be professional. Anyway, Orange Cassidy ends up pinning Roderick Strong. Jungle Jack Perry.
Professional while doing unprofessional bullshit.
Jungle Jack Perry comes down the ramp and hits. Who was it? Not Dante Martin? I have DM written down.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Dante Martin.
There's a Mercedes Moné vignette. Callis kind of offers it to Roosh to join the Callis family. Kind of hints at it a little bit. Anything to say about that?
I said it before you came out. If the Don Callis family was a little more hot, like they were a few months ago under Kenny, I guess, that I would have more excitement for this. This just feels like, you have to replace Powerhouse Hobbs, so you do it with Roosh.
Yeah, I like the Don Callis family. They're the land of misfit toys, as long as you give Roosh more to do, because that Roosh MJF match was really fucking good. Roosh is really fucking high energy and cool.
Yeah, but I guess, it's the follow-up. Now what? Now what are you going to do?
And no mustache. Put him in the Don Callis family. That's what. The Acclaimed end up going over the Young Bucks after Matt hits Nick with the belts. Or maybe the other way around. Anyway, I missed that this was a eliminator match, and I thought that the Acclaimed won the tag belts, and I was like, holy fucking shit. Didn't happen. But listen, if you're trying to make Okada a heel, don't have him cut Acclaimed's mics, because I'm going to cheer for that shit every single time. What you think, Jason?
You ain't shit. This is what I've been saying for a while. If you're going to make the Acclaimed feel like they're a tag team again, I'm sorry. I'd say, as silly as he is, I openly popped as soon as he was just like, shut up, bitch. Okada just cursing to me is just funny. I'm sorry.
He's good.
I don't think it's the greatest comic, timing, but it's just funny to me. I don't know why. It just is. So him, cutting off the Acclaim's mic was a good precursor to get more heat on the Bucks. As this match went along, you could kind of tell that the Acclaimed was going to win it, because God knows Anthony Bowens was kicking out of every fucking thing known to man. I'm like, there was one spot that they did, and I can't remember what it was. It was something they did off the top rope, and I'm like, okay, now this has to be it, right? And then he kicks out. I'm like, okay, Acclaimed's definitely winning. So at that point, you could kind of see where they were going. Anthony Bowens, overcoming the leg injury, is a nice little spot to where you can get fans support behind the Acclaimed. They're the underdog baby faces, if you will. I'm just, like I said, I'm surprised that they even won this shit, especially the way that this match was going. I just assumed that they were going to take the L like everybody else has in an eliminator match, it seems like. But
I'm still surprised that they won, even if it was an eliminator match. We talked about Hook and Joe. We had a segment with Tony Storm, Shirakawa, and Mariah May. The Outcast come out for some reason, and it was really bad. Saraya just was not trying. I'm not saying Tony Storm, Mariah May, and Shirakawa weren't good. All three of them, before Saraya made her entrance, were pitch perfect. It's a funny story, and one that we've really never seen, or if we have, we haven't seen in a while. I don't know why the Outcast came out.
Beef with Tony from back in the day.
No, I know you can explain it, but it's like, why would you book that?
Honestly, I don't care. I know that Three Beer loves Saraya. I'm done. Why are you here at this point? There's so much talent that just needs to be on screen, and yet we're trotting out Saraya and Harley Cameron. You make the call.
Yeah, nothing else.
And now Anna Jay.
Statlander goes over Nyla Rose. Willow Nightingale is getting more and more. Statlander's really good. Willow Nightingale seems to getting more and more comfortable cutting promos. She's really good now. The Learning Tree and the Big Redwood and the Bounty Hunter confront Private Party backstage. What you think, Jason?
God damn. Just have this match. Fuck's sake. I don't even care. I don't even care. Have this match and let's move it along. God bless.
Then you start having Big Bill kill people. Sorry, the Big Redwood.
Yeah, right. The branches. I told you he said it this week again, calling his fans the branches. I'm like, okay, that's funny. Outside of that, this is just a whole waste
Big Bill and the Bad Apple. The Bad Apple and the Big Redwood
Lord
as tag champs. I like that.
I was about to say, this is going to be on Rampage. You going to watch Rampage Friday night now?
Yeah. Are they fighting? Big Redwood and Brian Keith?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, I bet you are. fucking park.
That should be that should be behind a paywall.
Fuck that. I'm climbing that motherfucker too. Kiss my ass. I ain't paying for this shit.
Dean Garcia fights a jobber, Hechicero. Will Ospreay comes out. Hechicero comes out to enter or beat him up at the end. Will Ospreay and MJF. Well, MJF came out first, and then Will Ospreay's music hits, and then MJF and Will Ospreay have a face-to-face. Listen, we're going to have our predictions for Forbidden Door next week. I really don't know which way to go with the Swerve Ospreay thing.
I think I know now more than I thought I did last week, 2 weeks ago. I think there were the Will Ospreay. One of the things about the promo is that he basically disassociated himself from the Don Callis family. Even though Don Callis is like, no, don't worry about it. I know Will better. You know, good motherfucker. You've basically just been put on the shelf. I think that comes back to bite him in his ass. And that's the one of the ways that you can protect Will if you're booking him to lose. He loses by fuckery that has nothing to do with Swerve. Swerve's just the beneficiary of said fuckery.
Who takes the Intercontinental belt off of Will Ospreay? Roosh? I mean Takeshita's going to be gone.
Kyle O'Reilly?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think that person is. Daniel Garcia sounds like a good, way, but I don't see it. I mean, Will Ospreay is like Moxley is like, Cody. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'll just keep it in the AEW terms. It would take somebody that I look so highly at that. If they won that match, I'd be like, oh, okay, that would be cool. Like Zack Sabre Jr., since he was on. If ZSJ beats Moxley, I wouldn't blink because that makes sense, at least in my head.
Yeah.
Okay. Will Ospreay is like the top 1% in AEW right now. So him crossing paths with MJF, I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked what MJF did all the way up to he's gotten hurt. He's proved that he can wrestle good matches, big times matches. But Will Ospreay is still Will Ospreay. So, I mean, I would have to see that before I'm jumping on board with that. I guess MJF is my answer.
No, who's winning, Swerve or Ospreay?
If you're making me pick right now, I'm going to take Swerve to answer the other question. Who takes the international title off of Ospreay?
That's what I asked you.
MJF.
Sorry. I got MJF takes the international. Okay. And then what is kind of a strange main event, Claudio versus Pac. It's only strange because Claudio, you can watch him wrestle literally 3 times a week on AEW television sometimes. He wrestles all the fucking time. He wrestles on every Collision. He wrestles on every Dynamite. So it doesn't really feel like a main event because, we've seen him wrestle so much. But anyway, Pac ends up going over. I did not like the Claudio promo to build up this match during Dynamite either, where he's like, we're going to do it for wrestling. It's like, oh, come on, guys. Can you just act like you're wrestling to win the match?
This is where the best wrestle, right? Isn't that what they say? Okay, so I mean,
this has been Cornette's Corner.
As corny as his promo may be, I get it, and that's what I was kind of looking for was a.
You didn't roll your eyes extra fucking hard when he said that. I rolled my eyes extra fucking hard.
No, that is what it is. If Tony Khan says it, okay, then I'm rolling my eyes a little extra hard. But
dude, I was down the street and I could feel Bill roll his eyes.
Rolled my eyes real hard.
No, I thought it was deja vu.
Who is going to be the wild card facing Jeff Jarrett in the Owen tournament? Is it MJF?
I'm going to go with Hangman Page.
Yeah, Hangman Page would be pretty good too. So that's going to do it for our 3 counts.
If you don't know.
All right, so the 3 count is going to be the G1 announcements that came out last, I think it was Monday or something. Anyway, let me find this on my phone real fast. This is some real
unprofessional bullshit.
So they announced the G1 in Block A. We have Tetsuya Naito, Shota Umino, Shingo Takagi, Sanada, Great-O-Khan, Zack Sabre Jr., Gabe Kidd, Evil, Jake Lee from Noah, and TBA. That's going to be the play-in. There's a 6-man play-in. Block B is Hiroki Goto, El Phantasmo, Yota Tsuji, Jeff Cobb, Hanare, David Finlay, Rin Narita, Yuya Uemura, Konosuke Takeshita, and TBA. Let's talk about those first, Jason. What do you think about the G1 block announcements?
Always exciting. I'm with you. This is one of my favorite tournaments of the year, regardless of promotion. 2 blocks was a bit of a surprise. I thought we would have more names, a bigger tournament, but 20 guys is fine. I'm not too disappointed in that. Both blocks feels like basically people that I would expect to see in the tournament itself, minus Tomohiro Ishii, but we'll be talking about him here in a little bit. If I had to say which block looks stronger, at least in my head, I think the A block looks like a block that might be giving a lot of guys trouble. Gabe Kidd, Jake Lee being 2 guys that I think will be having strong tournaments. At least I would hope to see them have strong tournaments. The B block, I think, is not necessarily a weak block, but you have guys that have a chance to prove themselves. El Phantasmo, Yota Tsuji, obviously winning the New Japan Cup, but still young. Jeff Cobb has a chance as well. Ren Narita, Yuya Uemura, obviously young guns in this game as well. So the B block feels like the potential block. The A block feels like it's the block that you would know with names and faces.
You know what stood out to me the most is that, with a few exceptions, if you take out Jake Lee and Takeshita, so you take those 16 guys that are already named, for all intents and purposes, those are the 16 biggest wrestlers in the company. I mean, Tanahashi's up there, but Tanahashi is old. Ishii's up there, but Ishii is old. So it feels kind of stacked. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that everybody's going to win, or that doesn't mean that everybody has a chance to win, I should say. I wouldn't say that everybody has a chance to win, but it's the G1. You got to have guys lose, and for better or for worse, the guys that are losing are going to be pretty big stars as far as that promotion is concerned. Let's talk about Takeshita, because Takeshita is the real...
Very surprised.
Yeah. And
but very surprised.
Pleasantly surprised. It was the big shocker on here. I got to say, if you asked me to pick anybody in AEW to be in the G1, I would probably pick Takeshita first after thinking long and hard about it. There's a lot of guys I'd like to see in it. I'd like to see Roderick Strong. I'd like to see Claudio. I'm sure NJPW fanatics, like people who only watch NJPW, scoff at that. But still, Takeshita fucking rules.
Yeah.
And Takeshita is going to be out there to prove something, and I am excited to watch Takeshita fight.
I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it again here. I thought AEW would have pushed Takeshita a little more at this point. I won't call it – he's not a jobber, but he definitely has a ceiling that he has yet to break through for whatever reason. I honestly believe that New Japan is going to make him look as big as humanly possible. I think he'll be –
Yeah, because they wouldn't assign him.
I don't think it has anything to do with signing him. I think that New Japan books other talent pretty strong.
I've heard that Takeshita is unhappy. I've heard
breaking news
that Takeshita is unhappy at AEW and that NJPW has a chance to snatch him.
Did he just sign with AEW? I mean, damn.
Want to hear a hot take?
Please.
I think Takeshita could be in the final. I think Takeshita could win it.
There's the hot take.
Run that down, though. Run that down.
I mean, there's 3 guys that there's the number 1 seed in each block is automatically in the semifinals.
Correct.
2 and 3 fight each other to fight the number 1 seed. There's a lot of stories that you can tell there, and one story that NJPW loves in the G1 is have a guy lose his first 3 matches or something and then have him catch fire. They do it seems like they do with Naito every year. But they could definitely have Takeshita start off slow, get into that 3 spot, and then upset his way to the championship. They don't necessarily have to have him have 12 points or 14 points to be able to win the tournament, you know?
That's 2 things that, we obviously we need to talk about when talking about the G1. Obviously, the way that it's set up post the end of the tournament, who fights who, whatever the case may be. But we did say there are 2 TBA spots up for grabs, so I think let's talk about that first.
Okay, so the A block tournament is Tomohiro Ishii, Big Tom, Yoshihashi, Callum Newman, Kenta, Chase Owens, and Yujiro. Okay, so Yujiro, there's no chance. Chase Owens, please don't do that. Kenta, please don't do that. Yoshihashi would be cool because Yoshihashi always has good G1s.
Agreed.
Tomohiro Ishii would be cool, but Tomohiro Ishii, he might be hurting. Like I said last week, if he could sit out this G1 and we get 3 or 4 more, I would make that trade. This seems to be Callum Newman's play-in to me. What do you think?
I like the Yoshihashi call. So just to keep things interesting, I'll take Yoshihashi as the A block representative.
Wow!
I'm with you. I don't.
Wow!
I think Tomohiro Ishii should just be in this until
I
he
think
just
there's
says.
a very little chance that he gets in.
I'm not saying not.
I guarantee you it's not Ishii, because if he's going to get in, why would they make him wrestle 2 more matches? You know what I mean? So you're going to make him wrestle 11 matches rather than 9?
Fair
It's
enough.
Callum Newman. They just gave him that weird singles match against Naito. This is Callum Newman.
I can't say I totally.
And he's going to get in there and he's going to job a whole lot, but winning this small tournament is going to get him over a little bit more.
Yoshihashi losing a bunch of G1 matches isn't the worst thing in the world either, but
I'd be all for it. I just can't see it happening.
I totally see why you say Cal Newman. It makes all the sense in the world.
And then the B block tournament is Hiroshi Tanahashi, Yano.
Fuck him.
Oleg Bolton, Satoshi Kojima, Taichi, and TJP. So TJP's a bit of a surprise. Taichi is surprising to me that he didn't make the top 16.
Okay, that's what I'm like, wait a minute. So Taichi has beaten a former heavyweight champion in Shingo Takagi, but now he can't get into the G1. Make it make sense.
So I'm taking Taichi here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say anybody else, Olden Bolick would be 5 because I like him. I think he's got high potential, major upside. Outside of that, nobody else really makes sense.
I'm saying this from the bottom of my black heart.
Uh-oh.
I'm disappointed that Yano's not going to be in the tournament. And I mean that sincerely. I'm not saying it to troll you. I'm not saying it to be a dick. I am
sure
saying
about that?
I like Toru Yano matches.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you like being serious about this shit.
I am being
look.
serious. I would wear a Yano shirt.
Hey, this is obviously it's an audible podcast.
Sure.
You can't see Bill. He is leaned back, and he is being extremely genuine.
Yeah, this is not me.
This
No,
is like-
this is
this is
I'm
like-
being pure right here.
This is like when he baptized my daughter. He is being genuine.
Other thoughts about this? We're gonna get Hanari and Jeff Cobb. We're gonna get Takeshita versus Yota Tsuji. We're gonna get Takeshita versus Hiroki Goto, who we saw in the New Japan Cup, still has plenty left in the tank.
Nice.
I'm excited for this. And then in the A block, I would say that the match that I'm looking most forward to, I don't know, Gabe Kidd Shingo. That could be a banger.
It will be. Anything with Gabe Kidd. Zack Sabre Jr., Gabe Kidd, I think would be intriguing.
Who wins the G1?
It better be ZSJ.
If you had to put money on somebody besides ZSJ, who would you bet on? I know who mine would be.
Ooh.
Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, right. Wow. Yota Tsuji already got his. Shingo.
I'll take Shota. I think Shota could come out of this the winner. I don't know Jake Lee at all. Do you?
Oh, yeah. He was former GAC heavyweight champion, so that's Noah's highest belt. He's legit. Do not get it twisted. He's going to be a guy that's an interesting wild card, to say the least.
And what are your expectations for Jake Lee in this tournament?
Same for Takeshita. I think they should have somewhere between 8-10 points.
To your eyes, is Jake Lee as talented as Takeshita?
I haven't seen a lot of Jake Lee matches because obviously you've seen Takeshita on AEW and on pay-per-views. Takeshita just stands out. I mean, he leaps off the screen. Jake Lee is good. He's more of a slow plotting. He's more of a banger kind of wrestler. Takeshita's going to do what Takeshita does, and I think just saying that in my head, Takeshita's a little better, not much better.
Man, Gabe Kidd is not going to have any time for evil shit.
Fuck him up. Fuck him up, Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd needs to come in here and act a plumb fucking fool and just jump everybody. And I'm sorry, that includes Naito.
So, New Japan Pro Wrestling Seoul, the Seoul event was this weekend. Jason, I'm going to do the listeners a favor. I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to skip the undercard matches.
I say, what you do?
I say this with nothing but love. I don't even want to hear about it.
God damn. Okay, man. I mean,
Go ahead and give me your quick rundown.
No. I'll say let's just
please,
jump.
please, give me your rundown.
I'd say it is not that serious.
I know you got a rundown.
The only thing
I know you could do 30 minutes on it.
I'm not going to do 30 minutes on it. I'll just say this. The two...
He sent me a 30 text message on the way here.
Yeah, it was in
like,
Microsoft Excel.
I'm like, dude, you're driving. What are you doing?
Make sure I'm saying the
And he
names
said,
correctly.
and he replied, I'm just rolling a joint.
Nagi and Yadashuda were our new young lions. I think that's, to me, the biggest thing to take away from any of the undercard matches themselves. It's always, to me, good to see young talent. These are the guys that, Yoda Tsuji, came from this. Uemura came from this. Shota Umino came from this. So it's always, to me, good to see who I feel like is the next round of talent going to be coming up from the dojo up to the main roster. And don't get me wrong, United Empire's on this card. Jeff Cobb, Francisco Kier, all these other guys, I get it. For me, what I wanted to talk about was the young lions that are on the come up. So, yeah, as much as you make fun of me watching this shit, to me, it's fun to watch.
No, I'm glad you watch it.
To me, it's fun to watch, the youth, the future of New Japan battling it out for 10 minutes, and it's going to be a 10-minute draw.
There's so much wrestling.
I know, dude. I get it. Trust me. I snuck this joker in.
So why did they take the never six-man belts off of Tanahashi, Yano, and Bolton if they were just going to put them right back on them?
No clue. It doesn't make any sense. Especially with Tanahashi, I would have liked to think that this would have been a time for him to start to transition away from the ring. Six-mans are fine. I get that. I mean, it's not like, he's got to do a lot, but I'm with you. Bolton Oleg is the guy that should be, the centerpiece of this, and, let's build off of that. It's not hurting Yoda Tsuji. It's not hurting Bushi. It's not hurting Hiromu. I mean, it's LIJ. LIJ is going to be fine.
The War Dogs go over TMDK, Robbie Eagles, and Fujita to retain the NJPW Strong Tag Belts. This was a fun match.
No, I like Fujita a lot. He's going to be the future of the junior division at some point.
I like Joe Maloney.
Joe Maloney is a fucking beast. This guy's been working with torn bicep for the better part of this year and just doesn't look like, it's going to stop him. I love how he and Clark Connors are just crazy enough to make it feel like, they're unstable, but they're a good team. I'm glad that they retained. I don't think this was the time for them to drop the titles. They're one of my favorite teams in New Japan and pretty much in wrestling.
Hanare goes over Shingo for the never open weight. Why didn't they just give it to Shingo? or why didn't they just give it to Inari at Dominion?
I don't know. It's New Japan in a nutshell. It's one step too late, one step behind. I don't care if Shingo breaks the never openweight title defense record. That's just dumb. The never openweight title is
that's not a real thing.
Yeah,
it's not a real stat.
It is
like
what
when you watch baseball now and they got all these stats. I was like, just show me how many RBIs the motherfucker has, you know?
I would say great on base percentage. Look,
when they show the bat velocity and shit, it's like I don't know if that's good. You're showing me a number. I don't know if that's fast or not.
I'm gonna assume 100 miles per hour plus is good, but neither here nor there.
Was it a base hit, a home run?
Yeah, that's ultimately what.
I need to know.
Show me who's on base.
Show me where the baby is. I don't need to hear about the birth of the shit. This should have been Hanare facing somebody else ultimately, and building Hanare up. I would like to think this is the way that they're going to do it and do it now. But Dominion would have been a perfect spot. Shingo, I'm just worried about Shingo now. He loses here, not worried, but just I guess bitterly mad because how he's getting booked lately. Loses here, probably going to lose to Danielson in the Owen tournament, and now now have to come back and face a G1.
That's the Forbidden Door match, isn't it? Danielson Shingo?
I think it is on the Forbidden Door show, but don't quote me on that.
Dude, that could be match of the night.
With Swerve and Ospreay on that same card, I can't say that.
Just with Will Ospreay on that card, really. But like Swerve it's going to be awesome.
He's a walking main event. Don't get me wrong. Danielson and Shingo is just intriguing just on size alone. But I would expect Danielson to win. You know, and that's not a knock against Shingo. It's just, damn. Every time I look up.
It's an AEW show.
It's a dub for whoever Shingo is going against. This dub is good for Hanare.
They should have reversed these decisions. They should have had Hanare go over at Dominion. And then in the rematch, have it be a double count out and have Hanare not give him the rematch after that.
That would have. Give this man the pencil. God damn, boy. You've been on fire tonight. Shit.
Up next, we had Finlay versus Sonata. I'll go first here. I'm bored as fuck of Sonata. Let me finish. I thought this match was really good. I didn't have huge expectations.
What?
I really liked this match, yeah. You didn't like it?
No, I liked it. I like David Finlay. I just always thought that he's never gotten the consistent push that if you want to have him be.
When he's good, he's good.
If you're going to be a top of the card heel or, a mid card heel, upper mid card heel, whatever, he's just never gotten that consistent
He's
push.
A fun heel.
He's a shit talking heel.
Yeah, I know. I love that.
And that's what I like. If you're going to be a heel, talk me through how you whooping this dude's
Kevin
ass.
Owens.
Perfect example. Sonata is who he is now at this point. I'm kind of with you.
I love Chase Owens talking about slapping him in his pretty face. He's like, beat that pretty face up.
And that's, I think we've seen the best of Sonata, at least when it comes to his booking. Being the champ, you're not going to get any better than that. He probably will never be the champion again. But this was good. I won't say it was better than I anticipated because I do like Sonata in ring. It's just, sometimes his booking is a little questionable, to say the least.
And then last but not least, we had Show versus El Desperado for the junior heavyweight belt, the Super Junior belt. This was in a steel cage. They still managed to do a bunch of House of Torture shit. But Desperado, the right person goes over. Desperado takes it off a Show. El Desperado is your new Super Junior champion. What you think?
A little surprised, honestly, just because, like you said, with all the fuckery occurring, Desperado overcomes it to win the title. I didn't necessarily like Show to winning the title on count out anyway, so I guess we took the long way for Desperado to get the title back, and he accomplishes one of the things he hasn't been able to do in New Japan by winning the best of the Super Juniors en route to winning the title back. Okay. But now what? Master Wato needs to be coming back at some point. If you're going to have Desperado as the champion, Master Wato and Desperado were one of the favorite stories coming out of... Super Tag League is coming right up. and that they were one of the teams in last year's tag league that couldn't stand each other. Then by the end, they were basically riding for each other. Master Wato and Desperado were in Super Junior Tag League last year together, and they were a team. And Desperado couldn't stand Master Wato at the beginning. Wato was always trying to give him, wear this shirt, wear our shirt.
I'm such a Wato mark now after that Teton match.
Dude, I mean, and now it's, to me, if you could get Wato back and healthy, this is a full circle moment, because now Master Wato, who looks up to Desperado, who wanted to be Desperado's boy, is now going to have to face him as the champion. Now we can start to do some New Japan shit, goddammit.
Hey, this was a pretty good event.
Better not to, and I'll say that. This was top to bottom better than I anticipated, just because how New Japan has been a little suspect as of booking of late. So to watch this, to see good wrestling and intelligent booking, it was a refreshing surprise for New Japan in 2024.
When does the G1 begin?
I think it said July.
It's not even in this fucking art. Oh, July 20th.
Okay, I was getting ready to say.
Oh, God damn, that's a month away.
It'll be fine. I'll say Forbidden Door will be here before you know it. We'll have Money in the Bank.
It'll be great.
Yeah. We'll breeze on to it.
Right when we need it.
Yep.
All right, that's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Any odds and ends you got?
Yay. No, I didn't get a chance to watch TNA from last week. Tatum Paxley was the surprise open challenger for Jordan Grace's title on Against All Odds. Their show over the weekend. Obviously, Tatum Paxley lost, but apparently she looked good in said loss. So,
you didn't watch it?
I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Unprofessional bullshit.
I mean, it was, I was in Chicago. There was there's a hierarchy of things in Chicago, and unfortunately, TNA didn't make that hierarchy.
Hey, I get it. So we got some birthdays this week. Not too many, though. Start playing the bagpipes. We got Coco Beware.
What?
Got a couple dead guys in a row. Coco Beware, R.I.P. He's dead, right? Earthquake would have been 61.
Oh, my God.
All right, now you can turn off the bagpipes. Brandy Rhodes is 41. Billie Kay, remember she was good. I could not remember the name of that fucking tag team that she was
Iconics.
in. The Iconics. I never would have gotten. I really never would have gotten that.
Really?
I don't think so. Okay. I was thinking about it for a while the other day. J.J. Dillon.
Still would.
Yeah, I think he's still alive.
Yeah, 82. Mark Chindrak.
Yikes. Canadian. I'm not sure.
Matt Stryker is only 50 years old. That is fucked up to me. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I always liked Matt Stryker on commentary.
Yeah, solid.
All right, for Tinder Mahal,
Check.
for Murray the Murray Man Murray,
Check.
for Lucha Chris,
Check.
for Patriot Pat, for
Check.
Brett Jagger,
Check.
for Vice, for Two Beer Zach Pullman.
Check.
We miss you, buddy. Try showing up for work next week.
Boy, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
For Jason Cornelius Bell,
Check.
my name is Bill Vagey. I started way too early. Black Lives Matter, special
Check.
local weed dealers,
Check.
special local
Check.
restaurants. Call your parents
Check.
and never ever forget to boo the heels.
Boo! Bitch.
Shut up, bitches.